Hello and welcome to the FlameHisWorld commentary of Pokémon Puzzle Challenge for the Game Boy Color. I'm the Flameflower.
I'm Stephen.
I'm Chris.
And this game is a kind of Pokemon themed adaptation of the Panel de Pon kind of puzzle game series kind of thing. Like there was also one on the Super Nintendo called Tetris Attack that had like loads of Yoshi sort of aesthetics to it, but this is the one that I grew up with, and that's why this is the one we're doing, and also it's an excuse for us to bullshit about Pokemon for like nearly an hour. But you know, you could kind of see that coming anyway. Now, I actually haven't run this past you. Have either of you guys played this yourself at all?
No.
Right, so it is going to be a bullshit con, but you'll see why I like this in just a bit, because there is a story mode in this. That's what we're doing. We're going to be doing the story mode on hard mode because, you know, that's the way to kind of see everything in it. It is based on the Gen 2 games, so we're going to be going through the Johto gyms, and yeah, to go into this we should probably set the scene a little bit of what do we all think of Generation 2 on the whole, just in general, Chris?
Yeah, very good Pokemon. Yes, one of the best really, I'll say, Generation 2.
Stephen?
So I can't really say much about the games themselves because sadly I've never had the chance to play Gen 2. Yes, I know, yes, you're giving me the test there for that. Basing it on Pokédex alone, it's like, it's good, it's not my favourite. But I do really like it still.
So, in terms of the Pokédex and like in terms of their designs and whatnot, which generation would you say is your favourite?
It's quite tricky to decide that, honestly. I mean, I can easily pin down my least favourite. I mean, I don't hate it, but the weakest for me is Gen 5. And that's mostly due to the fact that a lot of it is just a Gen 1 rehash.
Yeah, because with Gen 5 they sort of took that approach of like, well, we're gonna just have the new Pokemon until you beat the game. But what that resulted in is that a lot of the designs were just sort of XPs of like Gen 1 Pokemon. Like instead of Geodude we've got Rock and Roller and things like that. And then obviously there's the regional birds and shit, but then there's that every gen. And
there's Sork and Throw, which are very weak versions of Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan.
Yeah, and my favourite one, the most obvious, like cheap rip-off name, Woobat. That is so stupid.
And how do we rename it in the? How do we come up with a name for its evolution? Swoobat.
Yeah, someone was like ready to go on their lunch break in 5 minutes then, weren't they?
And then there's Minccino.
What one was that one?
That's what's the name of the female companion throughout the game?
Iris?
Bianca.
Oh, Bianca.
Yeah, you know how in the anime she's got that little grey rat type thing that really likes cleaning things.
Yeah, the not Rattata.
Yeah, Minccino. When that evolves into Cinccino, it just grows white tufts of really long hair. That is it. That is genuinely it. If you hold the designs either side by side, they are exactly the same, minus the hair.
Of course. Yeah. But for me personally, Gen 2 is my favourite Pokemon generation. Maybe that's a bit nostalgia faggy. It was like Pokemon Silver was the first Pokemon game I played through, and I really did like it then. I've recently replayed Pokemon Crystal in its entirety and got that same feeling of I'm really enjoying this game that I did back in the day. Naturally, I was recording it for SC Playthrough, so I was a little bit more on the like actually trying to do well as opposed to when I was a kid, where I had a powerful Geodude, I had a powerful Typhlosion, and that was my team. But yeah, going back through it, like there's a lot of stuff I like. I like the worlds of Gen 2, like Johto is a good generation. I like just the fact that in the games, like the Pokemon League isn't the end all of the story. You go back through the Kanto gyms and you get to see how Kanto has progressed in the 3 years between the games.
It's basically like one, isn't it? But you've also, well, it's two, but you also get one as well in there as well.
gameplay-wise, it's refined a lot from Gen 1 as well, because, like, Gen 1, like, I will say flat out, like, with all their problems, I still absolutely love Red, Blue and Yellow. Like, I know it's kind of the thing of, like, it gets associated with the wrong parts of the fan base, the ones who kind of, like, be all and end all and ignore the game's problems, but for me, like, I know all the things that Gen 1 has wrong with it, but I still really like the games because they're Pokemon at their most simple. And I remember sort of going into that in the sum up when we did Yellow on the channel. But, like, I do appreciate the way that Gold, Silver, and especially Crystal are, like, more refined takes on that. And there are some things, like, there are also problems with Gen 2, because Gen 2, everything is under-leveled. And I know that they did buff a lot of, like, the gym leaders and the Pokemon League and shit like that in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Because, like, pretty much everything will be, like, above the level you need to be for it. Say, like, I think the only boss where you might have to actually grind beyond, like, basic leveling is the very last fight. Because, hello there, level 81 Pikachu. It's silly, but, like, admittedly, it's not the Pikachu that gives me the most grief with Red, it's actually his Espeon. Because, like, my sort of workaround that I'd sort of built up for taking down psychic types is I had my Haunter. But naturally, Haunter is also part poison, thus weak to psychic. So, you know, he uses psychic and Haunter is fucking dead.
I think you're going to react badly to what I have to say here, but Gen 2 starters, they're probably my least favourite of all of the regions.
Explain yourself.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
Look, I like them, and I like Chikorita's line. I know
that's the worst one, but
I don't care. But yeah, of course, their designs just feel the weakest, in my opinion, especially Typhlosion.
I wish people could hear the death glare I'm giving you right now.
Yeah.
I don't hate Typhlosion. I like it, but every time I look at it, I don't think it's a starter Pokemon. I just don't think of it in that way.
So, do you get that same sort of feeling with things like, what was the grass one from Gen 4? Because that's one that doesn't feel like a starter to me.
I can see where you go with that. I mean, I really love Torterra. I love his design. It's basically a walking island. They always have this sort of feeling to them. It's difficult to explain with the starters.
I don't know, like, although saying that, like, when you think of Samurott, oh, what about him? Because he feels a bit generic.
It's like, but that's partly due to the fact that you expect his design to go in a far different way than it ends up being.
Yeah, because he does not look like he should be an Oshawott evolution, does he? And, like, Duot, too, like, that's like the logical evolution for Oshawott, but it's like a less cool Oshawott. Maybe I ended up really liking Oshawott because of the one in the anime, but still.
They should always sort of keep the starters, I feel, like the same, like a natural evolution. Like all these feel naturally a step above, like, you know, yeah.
Well, we say that, and like, if you were looking at this as someone who isn't overly familiar with Gen 1, and this, I'm dancing on the edge of a blade here in terms of blaspheming because I don't want it to come across this way. But does Charizard look like a Charmander evolution, really? Because we go from lizard to dragon.
Yeah, but you can tell from the colour scheme and basic body, really.
I guess, like, I think that might be reliant on, like, the tail. Because the tail is, like, the consistent feature.
It's like the only major difference in their body type is the addition of the wings and the fact that the neck gets a lot longer after Charmeleon.
And he puts on weight.
Yeah, that, of course.
Like, yeah, I do kind of guess that. I just kind of think if we're talking about the way that they completely change species, then, like, otter to fucking hentai beasts is kind of not all that different from lizard to dragon.
So I think another one. The main reason I'm not a big fan of Typhlosion is that it does just look like a bigger Quilava. It doesn't feel like there's been any sense of progression to the design.
I guess, but I think that is probably trying to keep them cohesive. Although I think, if I'm going back on what I said a little bit, I think what might hurt Typhlosion to some people is that it's the fire starter following on from Charizard.
Plus, its stats are exactly the same as Charizard's.
Like, exactly.
Yeah,
Huh.
minus the flying type. And its moveset isn't as great. So,
Yeah.
it is basically a lesser Charizard.
True in a way, like, admittedly, it... Like, in Gen 2 at least, I don't know what moveset it gets, like, in later gens, but, like, I got through the entire game without, like, learning Flamethrower. Like, I was still throwing Flame Wheel around against the final boss. And that's kind of, you know, when you're reliant on the weaker moves, because I don't think Flame Wheel's that amazing on the whole, is it?
It's not that good, but its main niche, is it? How you pronounce that word? Yeah, I think its main niche is that if the Pokemon is frozen, if you use Flame Wheel, it immediately melts the ice.
Oh, right, so if the Pokemon itself that's using it is frozen, then
Yes.
it heals the freeze. Oh, that makes sense, I guess.
So it's like, it's a weak move, but it's got that addition to it. But that's kind of situational.
It's very situational, because I don't think through my entire playthrough I got frozen once. Because, like, ice types are a rarity as it is, and, like, the ice types attacks that are around, like, they're all, like, quite low chance of actually freezing.
And the only two I can really think of that freeze are Ice Beam and Blizzard.
And, like, Blizzard is one of them attacks that never fucking hits.
Yeah. Oh, and Tri-Beam.
Oh, yeah.
Tri-Attack. That was
Tri-Attack. That's the one that, like, it has fire, ice, and lightning elements, isn't it? Yeah, I guess, like, that, again, that's a very RNG kind of thing, though, isn't it? So...
Because that's got the chance of burning or paralysis.
Yeah, there's no, like, guaranteed freeze attack, is there?
No.
Because, like, if you think of other status moves, like, say, Paralyze, you've got, like, Stun Spore and Thunder Wave and things like that.
And Hypnosis.
Hypnosis for sleep, and then, like, Will-O-Wisp for burn. But Ice just doesn't have one. Now, given we haven't taken the obligatory 30 seconds to talk about how this gameplay actually works so far, like, I will say that what's going on here is that you lose if it gets to the top. Obviously, that's kind of a given with these kind of games, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to get, like, combos of 4+, because that's what damages the enemy. Like, you can get 3 to clear the blocks, but if you want to actually hurt the other Pokemon, then you've got to, like, get 4 or more. Or do, like, a chain one where you, like, take out the 3 and then it falls and then it causes another one that causes damage as well. Okay, that's the 30 seconds I needed to actually explain this game. Now back to bullshit.
I like the fact that the Ghastly actually looks like it's concentrating on the game.
It does, like, that move when it sort of leans back and sticks its tongue out. It's like, what can I do next?
It's like, look at it, it's staring so intently.
It is. What do we think of Ghastly as a Pokemon?
I like it, but that's mostly nostalgia talking. It is kind of a dull design when you think about it.
It's just a glowing orb, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, more or less.
Like, I like Haunter and I like Gengar.
Yes.
It's like a first level Pokemon, so it doesn't have to be that good.
I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of its advantage for its bad design.
Yeah, it gets away with it.
It's like, it's only the beginning. It gets better from here.
Yeah. But, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you for more assaulted Pokemon chatter in the next part of Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. See you then.